So you are thinking about moving to Austin and you have your eye on a few central Austin neighborhoods that might seem interesting. A lot of the North Austin neighborhoods have similar history. However, many of them have slightly varied cost of living. Today, I'm going to share with you the cost of living in the Brentwood neighborhood. This is Daphne Quay, your boss lady realtor here in Austin, Texas. If this is your first time on the channel and you want to learn everything about living, working, eating, breathing, sleeping, and playing in the ATX, make sure to click that subscribe button and click on that notification button so you get notified every time we have a new video. We get calls, texts, emails every day from people just like you who are thinking about relocating, and I super love it. If you're thinking about relocating anywhere in the Austin metro or central Texas, make sure to call me, shoot me a text, send me an email, Instagram DM, like whatever works. Honestly, if you want to move to Austin, I got you. I think one of the main things that people want to know when it comes to cost of living, of course, is going to be the cost of housing or the price of homes. Brentwood is an older neighborhood, but in the last few years, we've been seeing a lot more new construction. So there's a pretty big mix of really old little bungalow houses that are literally 1,000 square feet up until like newer, like semi-modern mini mansions, honestly. I'm seeing price range consistently be in the low 400s to, I'd say, the low 700s over there. So anywhere from about 400, expect to get a house that will probably need some work and updating, up to about 700, and that's typically a home that's more ready to go. Another cost that ties into the cost of living and having a home in the Brentwood area, of course, is going to be property taxes. Texas does have some of the highest property taxes in the country. Brentwood is towards the lower end for Austin. The tax rate in Austin typically ranges from 2.3% to about 2.5%, depending on the neighborhood that you're in. The tax rate in Brentwood is 2.14%, so just a little bit under 2.2%. So for example, there's actually a home that I saw in Brentwood a few weeks ago. It ended up selling for $700,000, and the property taxes on it were $13,000 a year. To give you some perspective. Another big perk of Texas, Austin, and consequently the Brentwood area, I guess, is that we have really inexpensive gas. Our gas is some of the least expensive in the country. I've mentioned this a million other times in other videos as well. But right now, like particularly during the Corona time, I remember I saw gas once that was $1.23 a gallon. Today, we're in August 2020, and gas is, I saw it earlier today for, I want to say $1.75 a gallon. I also saw it a couple days ago in another part of town for $1.53. So it's consistently low. When we're not in a pandemic, it's usually about $2 to $2.30 per gallon. So utilities. I have a lot of folks that move to Austin from California in particular, and everybody in California complains about the high electric bills. Like that electricity is just super expensive there. In Texas and in Austin, it's really reasonable. I just looked it up. The average residential electricity rate in Austin is 10.44 cents per kilowatt hour. And of course, that's true in the Brentwood neighborhood as well. I think in a neighborhood like Brentwood, it's really going to depend what kind of home you have, the size and the age and the energy efficiency, because there are a lot of homes that were built in the 50s there, and they may not be as energy efficient as a home built sometime in the 2000s. So just expect that there could be some variation there, but generally speaking, our electricity is very reasonably priced, and it doesn't tend to spike a ton from one year to the other. So let's talk about the cost of groceries and food. Generally speaking, Austin and Texas we have a lot of farms, and we have access to fresh produce. Because our produce doesn't have to travel across the country to get here, I think number one, it's fresher, and number two, it's a lot more affordable than it would be in other parts of the US. I remember when I first moved here, granted this was just over 10 years ago, I moved here from Minnesota, and I remember in Minnesota you could get a pineapple for $5. And here, when they're in season, you can get a pineapple for less than $2. Sometimes even $1, depending on where you shop and the time of year. For example, I have a good friend who has a family of 5, and she told me that they spend about $200 a week on food for the family. Personally, I spend about $120 a week on groceries. It just depends where you shop, what you get. We have H-E-B here, which is our like main grocery store. Most families will shop there because it is so economical. But we also have Whole Foods that is headquartered out of Austin, Central Market, which is another brand of H-E-B, which is similar to Whole Foods. We just have a lot of options, but generally speaking, a family of 5, for instance, can eat for a week for $200. So if you own a home in the Brentwood neighborhood, you're probably going to need somebody to mow your lawn. Lawn maintenance in the Austin area is very reasonable. I think in Brentwood, for instance, you could probably have a spacious yard. Let's say it's like a 1/4 acre large. You could have that mowed once every couple weeks for about $50, give or take. I think that's a pretty reasonable rate across the board. I hope this video helped answer some of your questions and gave you a better idea of the cost of living in Brentwood. Like I mentioned, I'm a local realtor here in Austin, Texas, and I do tons of videos similar to this one, along with more information about this wonderful city. If you're even thinking about moving to the Austin area, make sure to give me a call, send me a text, shoot me an email, send me an Instagram DM, honestly, whatever works. If this is your first time on this channel and you want to learn everything about living, working, eating, breathing, sleeping, and playing in the ATX, make sure to click that subscribe button and click that notification button so you get notified every time we have a new video. We get calls, texts, emails every day from folks just like you who are thinking about relocating, and I am just super excited to hear from you.